Pat Boone, born Charles Eugene Boone on June 1st, 1934 in Jacksonville, Florida, is a figure that has transcended the boundaries of entertainment to become a symbol of wholesome American values. Known for his clean-cut image and smooth vocal style, Boone rose to prominence in the 1950s when rock and roll was beginning to take over the music scene. His journey was unique in that he provided an alternative to the rebellious figures dominating the genre, offering a more family-friendly version of rock and roll that appealed to a broad audience. Throughout his career, Boone remained rooted in his Southern upbringing and Christian faith, values that shaped not only his personal life but also his professional identity. As he climbed the charts and reached commercial success, his music helped bridge the gap between racial and cultural divides, introducing wider audiences to rhythm and blues through his cover versions of popular songs. Boone's breakthrough and success. Pat Boone's breakthrough in the 1950s came with his cover versions of rhythm and blues hits, which were originally performed by black artists. His renditions of songs like Ain't That a Shame by Fats Domino and Tutti Frutti by Little Richard were not only commercial successes but also played a significant role in popularizing R&B for white audiences. Despite some criticism for cultural appropriation, Boone's style won him legions of fans and placed him on the charts alongside other rock legends. With over 38 top 40 hits and 6 number-1 songs, his popularity rivaled that of Elvis Presley, making him one of the most successful artists of the 1950s. Boone's smooth ballads and romantic crooning attracted millions of fans, and his clean image made him a favourite of parents, especially in contrast to the often controversial figures of rock and roll during that time. Expanding beyond music, television and film career. Pat Boone's influence wasn't confined to the music charts. In addition to his success as a recording artist, he expanded into television and film, further cementing his status as a household name. He hosted the Pat Boone Chevy Showroom from 1957 to 1960, a variety show that featured both established stars and up-and-coming talent. This exposure on television further solidified his place in American pop culture. Boone also starred in over a dozen films, including April Love, 1957, and Journey to the Center of the Earth, 1959, where his on-screen persona mirrored his public image. Clean, respectable, and morally upright, he became known for roles in family-friendly films, which endeared him to a wide audience and made him one of Hollywood's most bankable stars during the late 1950s and early 1960s. Pat Boone's unwavering commitment to faith and values. Throughout his career, Pat Boone maintained a steadfast commitment to his Christian faith, which became a cornerstone of both his personal and professional life. He frequently used his platform to advocate for Christian values, often appearing at evangelical events and writing books on faith, family, and morality. His 1959 book, Twixt 12 and 20, which offered guidance for teenagers, became a bestseller and further cemented his role as a trusted voice for conservative family values. Boone's faith also shaped his choices in film and music, as he deliberately avoided roles or projects that conflicted with his beliefs. While other stars of his era were drawn to edgier or more controversial material, Boone's unwavering dedication to his principles allowed him to maintain a scandal-free life and build a reputation as one of the most respected figures in entertainment. A legacy of consistency and excellence. Pat Boone's career is defined not only by his incredible achievements but also by his consistency and dedication to his craft. Over the course of his career, Boone recorded more than 2,600 songs, a staggering number that highlights both his work ethic and his artistic range. With more than 50 million records sold, Boone became one of the most successful recording artists of all time. His legacy as a chart-topping star was further solidified by his record of 220 consecutive weeks in the US Top 100, a feat that was unmatched by many of his contemporaries. This sustained success was a testament to his ability to adapt to changing musical tastes, while maintaining a style that was uniquely his own. Boone's influence on the music industry extended far beyond his own hits, as he played a pivotal role in the crossover movement of the 1950s and 1960s, helping to bring rhythm and blues to a wider audience. The truth about Elvis Presley: a complex relationship. In his later years, Pat Boone has opened up about his complex relationship with Elvis Presley, one of the most legendary figures in music history. Both artists were at the forefront of the rock and roll revolution, but their paths diverged in significant ways. Boone was known for his clean-cut image and wholesome style, while Elvis embraced a more rebellious persona that captured the hearts of millions. Despite these differences, Boone never saw Presley as a rival. In fact, he admired Elvis for his raw talent and dedication to his craft. Boone was one of the few people who recognized early on that Elvis was not just a heartthrob, but a revolutionary figure in music who would change the cultural landscape. Boone's reflections on their friendship reveal a deep respect for Elvis, despite the contrasting public personas that often pitted them against each other. Elvis's decline and Boone's regret. As the years passed, Pat Boone became increasingly saddened by Elvis's decline into addiction and isolation. Having witnessed firsthand the pressures of fame that Elvis faced, Boone often wished that he could have done more to help. While they shared a mutual respect for each other, their careers and personal lives took different directions. Boone, deeply rooted in his Christian faith, believed that Elvis was searching for something deeper, something spiritual, but struggled with the loneliness and excesses that fame brought. Boone has expressed regret that he could not have offered more support to Elvis during his time of need. In his later reflections, Boone acknowledges that he could have done more to be there for Elvis, especially in the face of the public's often harsh judgment of the king of rock and roll, a friendship beyond the media's spotlight. Pat Boone's reflections on his relationship with Elvis Presley reveal a friendship that was far deeper than the media sensationalized. Boone recalls late-night phone calls and casual conversations in which the two shared their hopes, fears, and dreams. While their lives were often played out under the glare of the spotlight, their bond was rooted in mutual admiration and understanding. Boone describes Elvis as a sensitive soul who was misunderstood by the public, and he emphasizes the importance of seeing Elvis for who he truly was, not just a performer, but a man with deep emotions and struggles. Boone's insights into their relationship paint a picture of two men who, despite their differences, shared common ground in their experiences with fame, the pressures of stardom, and their search for meaning in life. Reflections on Elvis's legacy and Boone's own. In the twilight of his career, Pat Boone has come to see Elvis Presley in a new light, recognizing him not just as a cultural icon, but as a complex and vulnerable individual. Boone has expressed admiration for Elvis's ability to tap into something primal and raw, something that made him not just a performer, but a phenomenon. While their careers took different paths, Boone believes that Elvis's contribution to music was revolutionary. In his later years, Boone has spoken openly about his respect for Presley, acknowledging that the pressures of fame ultimately took a toll on the king of rock and roll. In doing so, Boone has reaffirmed his own legacy as an artist who maintained integrity throughout his career and remained true to his values, offering an example of compassion and honesty in an industry often defined by excess and scandal. The enduring impact of Pat Boone. Now, at 91 years old, Pat Boone continues to be a beloved figure in the world of music and entertainment. His journey from rock and roll heartthrob to respected artist and advocate for faith-based living reflects a career defined by both personal and professional growth. Boone's ability to adapt to changing times and shifting musical trends has ensured his place as one of the most enduring figures in American pop culture. As he looks back on his extraordinary career, Boone is proud of the legacy he has built, not just as a musician, but as a man of faith, integrity, and compassion. His reflections on Elvis Presley and his own place in the history of rock and roll serve as a reminder of the power of music to transcend time, space, and personal differences.